Well, hello again. All right, so we're going to do Mill Lab 3B, and this time what we are going to do is we are going to leave stock on all of the surfaces in X, in Y, okay, and even in the Z, okay, because the truth is, when you're machining a part, the first thing we're going to do is we're going to just remove stock. We're not actually going to make the part perfectly to size in one cut or even in a series of cuts with Z-depth cuts. We have to leave some stock for a finish pass. And that's what we're going to do here is show you how to make it so that we're going to leave stock for a finish pass and hopefully create the finish pass. We'll see if we get that far. I don't like to make these things much longer than 45 minutes because one, it's hard, and two, most people don't watch them. That's just the way it is. So the idea is that today we're going to go ahead and use the same part that we've been using. We'll go over the points 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, and 14. Okay? X0, Y0 will be in, excuse me, the lower left-hand corner of the part, and Z will be on top of the part. So any Z depth moves will be Z negative, and any Z positive moves will be above the part. All right. One of the nice things about making this, the X0, Y0, is all our moves in both X and Y are all positive. That won't always be the case. All right, so let's go back and look over here. First off, we've got our start block. Nothing's changing here. I just changed the program number. Notice I did resequence. I've got new block numbers here, all in nice by tens. I did that with CNC Editor. I will put that link up there in this module, and if you would like to try and download it, you can. You have to send an email, and then they send you some stuff, and it's very involved. And like I said, I kind of felt like I just got lucky. I don't think I could do a video on doing it because I really don't know how I did it. I just got lucky and it did it. But it's a nice little piece of software, CNC Editor. It's made by a company called Predator. We used to use them all the time. Not a bad company, not a great company, just a company. Okay, so while we've got our start block. Now, what we've got here is, let's go with this. This is points 1, 2, 3, and 4. Okay? And as you remember last time, 1, 2, 3, and 4, we're just milling the outside. And what we did was, instead of milling it all in one Z depth pass of 500 thousandths, okay, we actually did it in two passes. So this is our first pass where I took Z to 250 thousandths deep. So I just went down half of what I needed to go and did the whole thing. Now, using cutter comp, all right, and then in this block down here, excuse me, I don't like how that works. I'll just do this. In this block down here, I went ahead and took, all right, Z all the way to 500, 510. Remember, I went a little deeper here because I'm on the outside and I didn't want to leave like a little bit of burr or anything like that. So this was one Z depth pass on the outside at 250 thousandths deep, and this represents the second pass, okay, at 510 thousandths deep right there. Okay, and we did use cutter comp. Now the beautiful thing about this is, all right, is that we can take and leave stock very easily again. We only have to change a few things and do some copy and pasting. So let's explain the D number once again. You may be a little confused about what that is. Whenever you program that in there, now what we did was we did a G01, G41, cutter comp left, and we made a move that's greater than the radius of the cutter. This, when it sees this in the program, the control will go to a tool geometry table someplace where it's in there. And this is something that you as a setup person or an operator would actually populate the sizes of the end mills. Now you would go tool number 1 and it will ask you like what's the diameter of it, or sometimes it'll be radius. Hopefully you'll work in just radius or diameters and not radiuses. In this case, we were telling it that D01 was a 1-inch diameter end mill. That's the size end mill we're actually using. We're not going to change the end mill sizes in reality at all. We're still going to be using the same 1-inch diameter end mill. All right. So first thing I want you to do is I want you to go into this block right here. You get this program up, rename it. rename it Mill Lab number 3B, file save as Mill Lab 3B, put it in a different folder, however you want to do that. Okay, I'm going to go up here to change this D number to D02. So I'm going to go backspace right there. Now, I told you this, that this H number and the T number always have to be the same. The control will error out and tell you that they have to be the same. But the D numbers do not. That does not have to be. If this is T1, this could be D whatever you wanted it to be. I just keep them nice and straight. Now what I'm going to say is, I'm going to put on here something else. ROUGHING, and of course, once again cut out by caps lock. ROUGHING, roughing pass. Okay, I'm going to do a roughing pass there. I'm going to copy that, and I'm going to do it here too. Okay, and put a space right there. Take this back here. No, Control S. All right, now this is going to be leaving stock. Cutter comp on, roughing pass, and I'm going to be saying leaving stock. LEAVING STOCK. All right, now how much stock do you want to leave? I'm going to leave 15 thousandths. All right, now that's per side. That means as the end mill goes by there, the finish pass will just be removing 15 thousandths on the sides of the end mill. And we're also going to just be removing 15 thousandths on the end of it. This will give you longer tool life. Okay, this will give you better surface finish. That's the big thing, right? It'll give you less tool deflection, which means more accurate part geometry. So there's lots of reasons to be doing this. All right, I'm going to do the same thing here. I'm going to just copy. We'll make it all straight here. Go down here, space, paste, Control S. Let's see if I like the way that looks. Yes, Control S. Okay. Now, what I said I changed this to D02. Let's go back to that. In the control, there's going to be tool 1, and then there's going to be tool 2, tool 3, whatever. Some controls will support, I don't know, 500. I think I know one that'll support over 1,000 tools. Not that you could set up 1,000 tools, but it will support that many. So what we're going to do is when we go into that tool geometry page, we're going to tell it that D02 is actually going to equal, okay, instead of 1 inch, all right, we're going to say that it equals 1 inch and 30 thousandths. Now let me explain that really quickly. What I'm doing is I'm lying to the control. I'm still going to be using a 1 inch diameter end mill, but I'm actually telling the control that the end mill is 1 inch and 30 thousandths. What this will do will make the control, when it uses the cutter comp right here, okay, it will go in and say, oh, DO2 is 1 inch and 30 thousandths, so I have to go a little bit further away from the edge because this is a bigger end mill. That is going to leave us the stock. Now, here's the way. If you want 15 thousandths per side, double that and add it to the diameter of your end mill. So if you have a 1 inch end mill, you want 15 thousandths per side, you tell it it's a 1 inch and 30 thousandths end mill. If you have a half inch end mill and you want 15 thousandths per side, you say it's a 530 thousandths, 0.530. You will tell that in the control. That is something the control looks up. Now, rather than go through here, I'm going to show you another. I'm going to batch edit, which I'm just going to go down to replace, which is a very powerful function. I'm going to say find all the D01s and convert them right now to D02s. Change them all. Replace. Boom. Okay? If you hit replace all, if you hit replace, it just does them one at a time. Replace all does them all. Control S. Turn that off. Hit that Control S again because I got a weird sound there. Now we see that all my D01s have now become D02s. See? There. There. So this is a nice replace. Can really save you a lot of time if you have batch editing. And batch editing means you want to change the same thing more than once. Let's say I wanted to change all these feed rates from 7.33 inches per minute to 7.9 or 8 or something. I would go up there and go edit and type in F7.33, find it, and replace it with F9.00, and it would change them all just like that. Don't forget to hit Control S, remember, every time. Like I said, I've done it so much on my keyboard, the control, it doesn't even say control anymore. It's totally wore off. Okay, now that we've done this, let's just do the first 1. Okay, so the first one is what we're doing the outside. I'm going to minimize that again. Isn't that nice how that works? I don't quite understand why it never does that, but remember, we're just going to do point 1, point 2, point 3, and point 4, and then back to point 1 again. So right now we'll just do that. Okay, then we'll get all of them in there. All right, so right now this is my roughing pass right here. Okay, I've gone in here, I made my roughing pass. What it did was Z went down 250 thousandths, which is half the depth it needed to be, and it called up D02, which I told it was a 1 inch and 30 thousandths diameter end mill. Therefore, it's going to leave 15,000 stock. So it's going to go 250 thousandths deep and leave 15,000 stock in both the X and Y axes. Now, that's all fine and dandy. All right. Now, since it's the outside of the part, let's go back to our second depth pass. Z is going to be 510 thousandths. Remember, I told you the thickness of the part is 500 thousandths. So we went 10 thousandths deeper so that we wouldn't leave a burr or anything like that. It's always a good idea to go a little bit deeper if you can. All right, so that'd be my second pass at 510. It's still going to do the same. Everything's going to be the same, so it is going to still leave that same 15 thousandths per side stock in the X and Y axes, and Z will go down to 510. Now, right there, that's fine. So I've got roughing and living there. Now let's go back down to here. This is where we actually did the pocket. Let me show you that again. I'm going to leave this alone. But we look at the pocket. It's 250 thousandths deep, right? Everybody see that? 250 thousandths? All right, we'll go back up and maximize this again. So at this one right here, now, if that's 250 thousandths, and I'm looking at that, I'm going to change this. Yeah, because I went down to Z150. Let's look at that pocket again. Maybe the pocket wasn't 250,000. No, we did the island. That's why I was looking. I was getting confused. This was 150 thousandths. Yeah, we did the island first. This is the island. It's 300 thousandths deep. So 150. There we go. All right. So we took 150. And again, what this is going to do right here, this is going to rough it all. It's going to go 150 thousandths deep, and it's going to leave 15,000 stock, because remember, D02 is going to, I'm going to tell the control, lie to it, tell it that it's a 1 inch and 30 thousandths end mill when I'm actually using a 1 inch diameter end mill, and it'll leave 15 thousandths per side. And I don't have to do anything. So this is another roughing pass here. So I'm going to go back up here because I want to get all this down. Right here, copy it now that I've got all that down. Right here, space, paste. Okay, and this other one's the same thing. Space, paste, Control S. All right, those are nice little notes, and remember, you don't have to put these in your real stuff. This is just for learning purposes only. Nobody would expect that much comment statements. You can get too much and make it too busy. So it does the whole island here at 150 thousandths deep, leaving 15,000 stock. Then it goes, takes another one, okay, 300 thousandths deep, leaving 15,000 stock, using that DO2 number right there, okay. All right, so let's go back now. We brought Z back up 100 thousandths, and we've moved over. Now this, I believe, is our pocket. Okay, let's see. Z went down 125 thousandths. That's fine. All right, that's going to be fine. So we can do, that's our safe step. We got cutter comp on right here. I didn't put that on there. I'm put that in here, but by now you're getting the idea, and I don't want to, like I said, make this so busy that you can't read it. There is one thing up here that's not quite right. Remember, I told you we were going to leave stock in the Z-axis as well. 15 thousandths in X on all my sides in X, 15 thousandths on all my sides in Y, and also 15 thousandths on Z. Here I took it to 300 thousandths. I didn't leave any stock. So 300 minus 15, what is that? That's 285, right? Control S. Now, this one, it doesn't matter. Who cares if it leaves stock or not, because you're going to just cut that by. Remember, we're just making it so that we're not getting too much tool deflection, not getting bad surface finish. But this right here, now this is going to leave me 15,000 stock. And I'm actually going to put a comment right there. I probably should have just pasted it, but I'm proving myself I can still type. Control S. All right. So leaving 15,000 stock, probably NZ. There. Z. All right. Control S. So that left 15 thousandths. But right now we left these right here. By the time this was all finished, the island would have 15,000 stock on in the x-axis, in the y-axis, and in the z-axis, first to remove another pass. And we're going to put that other pass in there. Now let's look here again. We go back down here and we're looking at, well, what do we got? This is our pocket. The pocket was 250,000 steep. So we've already got the DO2 here. So again, we're lying to the control. All right, we're actually going to use a 1-inch diameter end mill, but we're telling it it's 1 inch and 30 thousandths, and that means that we're going to have 15 thousandths per side and put the X and the Y. So I don't have to change this Z value at all. Okay, but this one down here, well, I want to leave 15 thousandths in Z in my final pass. So what I'm going to do, I believe that's 235. Yeah, I did it right that time. Control S. What do you know? Okay, so what would that do? Same thing as this did. I'm going to go up here. I'm going to copy this. And this is notes. This is how, this is a good way to take notes. Let me see here. Paste. Yeah, Control S. So I left 15,000 stock in Z, and as well as 15 thousandths in both X, Y. You know what? Why don't we do this? X, Y. There. Okay, I'm going to copy that one. Copy. And go back up here and replace this. I like that better because now I know exactly what I'm doing. And paste. And Control S. So at this point I have left 15,000 stock. So what I've got right here, this whole program right here right now, the whole thing is going to do, it's going to do the part, and it's going to leave, when we're done, we're going to have 15,000 stock on all the sides, X and Y, and in the Z depths. This part would be oversized, okay? Which is what we wanted, because we wanted to leave that stock for a finish pass. Now there's a lot of different ways to do finish passes. This is one of the easier ones. CAD-CAM will not do it anything like this. It'll go ahead and do math and spit out a bunch of other numbers that you may not necessarily recognize. What is going to happen here is that when we're done, we're going to oversize part. So we're going, is this done? Is this complete? Well, no, it's not, because the part's not to size. So what else are we going to do? Well, we're going to cut and paste. Then I'm going to resequence my numbers. So first off, let's go back up here again. Remember, we don't have to fool anything with our start block. Just leave it alone. Okay? I want to copy this. I'm going to do these one at a time. All right, go all the way down here, and I did that again. Let's make sure you know how I did that. I come over here, and I am left clicking right there at the insertion point. I'm swiping, holding the button down until I get down to there, then letting go. Then I'm going to, right click any place in here and go copy. That's how you do that. Okay, there's some other shortcuts in there. Now, the deal is, that is, how we copy and paste. Now I could copy that one, and that's a good one to copy. It's not fine. The only thing I'll have to change is a couple things. Watch the beauty of it. So I'm going to go back down here. This is going to be my new insertion point, because remember, I'm going 250 thousandths, leaving 15,000 stock. Then I'm going 510 thousandths, leaving 15,000 stock, right? Now I don't have to on this one, not in Z, because this is the outside, and we don't care if I leave stock on the outside, or we don't want stock on the outside. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to hit an insertion point, and I'm going to go enter, open me up a line here, and now I'm going to go paste. Now my numbers, of course, are not going to be sequenced, but I'm going to change that. I'm going to show you how that you can resequence the numbers yourself manually. All right. At what point do we say, okay, what do we do here? Well, let's take a look. The idea is that we started, all right, at 60. So I'm going to open this up right here. Give me a line here, just so I can see what things are. This is going to be finish pass. Okay, and I'm not leaving any stock at all. boom, boom, Control S. Now, I pasted that. Now, do I need to take this in steps at 250 thousandths? Absolutely not. If you're going to take a finish pass, we're going to take it at full depth, okay, without leaving any stock. So, cutter comp on. I can put a comma there for you. Oh, not there, I guess, but how about over here? Finish pass. Okay, let's change this back. We're going to change this because this is our finish pass 510. We're going to go all the way deep. That's right. We're going to do this all in one. And the only other thing you have to change is this goes back to D01. What? That's right. Because remember what we're doing now is when this reads this line, the control, it's going to go in there and you're going to go at tool 01 and you're going to tell it that it's a 1-inch diameter end mill. So first off, you told it that up here, you told it was a 1-inch and 30 thousandths end mill. So you left 15 thousandths per side. Down here, you just told it was a 1-inch end mill. So now it's going to take all of that stock that it left, the 15 thousandths per side, and it's going to remove it. Guess what? There's our finished pass. That is it. That's all you have to do. Right there. Now, we could resequence real quick and everything like that, but I'm going to show you. I'm going to try and use the editor and resequence. All right, and make sure you hit Control S. I remember right there's my finish pass. I went to depth. I used D01. That is as simple as it gets. I don't understand. Some people actually manually program this all out and everything. It's just nuts. Okay, so let's go with it. I had a roughing pass, 250,000 deep, another roughing pass, 510,000 deep. Now I have a finishing pass at 510,000 deep. So guess what? The outside is done. That's right, the outside is done. Yay! So points 1, 2, 3, and 4 are complete. We milled a nice little rectangle using cutter comp, turned it off, everything's fine. Now I'm going to open up some more lines here just to get some things clear. We'll put some other stuff here. Now what I want to do? Well, I want to go ahead and we want to do the island. So we know that this is our whole island right here. All right. So let's take this and go back down. All right. And we only need to go down to right there. Okay. Because this is the point where it actually turns the cutter comp off and everything. So I'm going to copy. Again, all I did was hold down my right. I'll do it one more time. Hold down my right key or my right click. Swipe what I want to copy. And I'm going to go down to Z.1 or line 320. Then I'm going to click any place in here with my right and go copy. Now I'm going to go back up here and I'm going to paste that right there. All right, now I'm going to open up a line, just again to keep it nice. I'm going to hit Control S. Now, let's talk about what we did here. It says I got pass, and that's nice. Don't need that. You guys saw that. I didn't. That's okay. I'm going to change it anyway right now. Delete, delete. All right, you don't have to say delete. Actually, there are some machines you can say delete and it'll actually do it. All right, so this is what we got right here. All right. We went 150 deep. We don't need to go 150 deep because this is our finish pass. So let's do this here. We're going to change this again. Cutter comp on. F by N I S H finish pass, and we're not leaving any stock. So let's get rid of that. These are just notes, remember. And if you haven't hit Control S, do so. Cutter comp on finish pass. I could have put cutter comp on island finish pass, but you know this is the island. Now, there's only two things I have to change. Same thing, just the depth. Last time we left, remember, we stopped at 285 thousandths. We did. All right. Now, the question is, do I want it here or do I not? This is where I want you to think. Do I want it here or not? If I put it right here, don't I need to let it do the finish passes first? Oh, yes, I do. So I can just swipe this whole thing again. Watch this. And I'm going to cut it this time. Cut. All right. So let's close up some lines. Delete, 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 delete. There we go. All right. Because this one right here, this is our, I'm going to open that back up. There. That's our finish pass at 150, or a roughing pass at 150 thousandths. All right. Get rid of this other pass over here. This is live, so there you go. So I want to do my roughing pass right here. So see there, I got my cutter comp on roughing pass, cutter comp on roughing pass, 285. This is where I want to paste right here. I'm going to hit some, open up some lines, go up, oops, up, not over. Oh boy. Okay. I'm going to paste that same stuff that I just did right there because that's where I want it. Now let's make sure we went down, cutter comp off, hit enter. Z comes in to 100. Now this is going to be my finish pass. So what I want to do is I want to change this to 300 thousandths because that's how deep that island is. And again, yeah, Control S. Okay, and I'm going to change this to DO1. Control S. That's it. Guess what? Let's go over this again. Here was my first roughing pass, leaving 15 thousandths in both X, Y, and Z for the island. Here is my second roughing pass, leaving 15 thousandths in X. Well, okay, let me try that again. This is my first roughing pass in the island, leaving no finished stock because I'm only going in Z, but it is leaving finished stock in X, Y. So this one's my second finished pass, and I'm leaving 15 thousandths. Okay, now let me go over here and see if I said that. Okay, I did not. There we go. All right, so that's in X, Y, and Z. So all I have to do now on this one, because I've got, right, 150, 285, come back down here, change that to 300 thousandths because that's the right depth, change this to D01, that's all I have to do. Cutter comp finish pass. Now, I can go back up here, let me double check where I'm at, can't see it, 285 in X, comma, Y, comma, Z, because that did do that. Control S. All right, so 15 thousandths in X, Y, and Z. All right, that one, finished stock, 15 thousandths in just X, comma, Y. I didn't leave any stock in Z because I didn't need to. You only need to leave finished stock on your final Z pass. All right, so let's hit that again. Here is the, right, that's the island. All right, we go back down here and we did the island. We went down 285 in Z for our final pass, leaving stock in X and Y. And then this is our finish pass right here. Cutter comp on finish pass, and it did it all. And all I had to do was find the right place to copy, the right place to paste, and then just change my Z depth and change my D number. And I have a whole finished pass. It works beautifully. It really does. Now I know right now you're going, oh my gosh, just copy it down because later on we're going to start applying this stuff on different projects and you'll get the idea better. All right, you will. It'll come. It won't come all at once, but like I said, baby steps. We're only in like what the fourth week or maybe the third week, I think. So I think we're doing pretty good. All right. So now let me see what else I've got here. So I went down. Now what is this right here? So that was my pocket. So now right here, this area right here, this is all right here. And I'm not going to write. Oh, you know what? I can do it. I'm not going to write it. I'm just going to paste it, copy it. Okay. So we went to our safe start position. I'm just going to put right here. This is where I'm going to paste that. Just from my Control S. Don't forget to hit Control S. All right. So we went. This is for the pocket. We went down 125 thousandths. We didn't leave any stock in Z, so I got here on here that we did, but we didn't. So I'm going to correct that in my notes. Yes, Control S. Just get used to hitting Control S all the time. All right, and then that's my roughing pass. Right, that is my roughing pass. This one I did leave stock because I only went 235. So okay, I don't have to. I'm going to do the same thing. I'll just right here paste. Let's make sure that says that. Cutter comp on, roughing pass, lifting 15,000 stock in X, Y, and Z. So remember, I went down 235. The depth of the pocket's 250. All of this is good. So which one do I need? Well, right here's where we want to open up a line. So I'm just going to hit enter a couple times here. Get that out of the way. And I'm going to copy this because this is my last pass. So one more time on this. So this is the last time I'm going to show you. Put your insertion point there. You're going to left click and you're going to swipe and then bring it down. Okay, let go. Put the insertion point any place in the blue area, or hopefully you've got it the same color as me. If you don't, I change your theme to Windows 7. Okay, and then right click and go copy. All right, now I'm going to leave a space there because it's easier. I'm just going to go ahead and paste. Boom, paste. Now, by the way, the machine doesn't give a damn about these numbers right here. It doesn't. It doesn't care if these are in order or not. We're going to resequence them just to keep them cool, but it doesn't care. I'm going to hit Control S. Now, what I want to do this time? Well, first off, I want to make this 250 thousandths because that's how deep that pocket is. Okay? Am I leaving stock? This is not cutter comp. I'm not leaving any stock at all. So let me get rid of this. Let me see. Where's the finish pass? Cutter comp on, finish pass, leaving stock. 15 thousandths, right? Okay, right here. I'll just put that cutter comp finish pass. I'm going to copy this. These are notes. Copy. Okay, so we're going to go all the way back down here, and I'm just going to, again, I'm highlighting this just by the same way I did before, by swiping it. Click any place and go paste. Boom. Control S. Cutter comp on, finish pass. Okay, so Z went to 250 thousandths. We turned it on. What do I have to do? Now, if you don't change this right here, this DO2 to a DO1, it will leave that 15,000 stock. You won't cut anything. Oh, you may take a small spring cut or something like that, but it won't do it. So I'm backspacing, put DO1 there, hit Control S. Guess what? Guess what? Control S. We have a viable program. As viable as this one needs to be. Now it does look like a lot of lines, and it is. We've been working on it. Now you're going, well, none of the lines are sequenced, so I'm going to show you how to resequence them. Again, you could do it manually, like, oh, we could go up here and go right here at this point all the way to 230. It's fine. Then I go in 240, in 250, in 260, in 270. All right, that's fine, but there's automatic ways to do that. So I'm going to minimize this. I've already saved it. Okay, I'm going to get rid of this thing because we don't need it anymore. So say goodbye to it. This last, I don't think we're going to see it anymore. Nope, we are not. And I'm going to come up with here. Now I'm going to pin this to a taskbar. There it is. Now, like I said, I'll put the link where you can get this. It's free. It's free. CNC Editor. Hopefully that splash screen will go away. Let's go open a file. File, open. Hopefully you're saving your stuff where you can find them. If you're not saving it where you can find it, I can't help you. Open it and let's see. This should be, yep. Okay, let's take a look. Yep, in X and Y, 15,000 X, Y, 15,000. This is the one we just did. Notice the format's a little bit different. A lot of this stuff up here is the same. It just has a little more powerful stuff. The powerful thing being I want to resequence these numbers because here at 230 it goes to N60 again. I'm going to go right here, process, resequence. It comes up with this nice little dialog box. You can start it at 10, increment by whatever. Okay, I always click apply to entire file. You can add a space after each sequence number, which I want to do. Now, I don't know why that doesn't default to that. I think spaces make things easier. That's that space right there. Okay, so let's say I wanted to do it start at 5 and sequence by 10. By 5. We'll just go 5. 5, 10, 15, 20. You got it, right? I just hit OK. Boom. Look at that. N5, N10, N15, N20. My sequence numbers are all pretty and beautiful. They are. They're just drop dead gorgeous. Now, what do you want to do? Well, we want to save this file because right now it's not saved. This is just what it did. We haven't changed anything. So I'm going to go File, Save As, Go back, click that, because this is when I turn it, and save it. Okay, it says you want to replace it. Damn straight I do. Okay, let me see. Let me save this. Open another application. Someplace it thinks it's open right here. Okay, let's try that again. It doesn't like it being open, so we'll close that. That's fine. And I'll go back into Editor, and we'll do it again. Doesn't hurt. File, save as. Remember, this is your path. Some people call these breadcrumbs. I have it in a folder called File 2020, in another folder inside of that one called MTTC 208, and another one MillLab 3B. So I just click on that, it populates it down here, hit save, you replace it, yes, and okay, there we go. Now, that is exactly what I wanted to do. All right, there is a couple other ways to do that, okay, but it's saved. All right. So that is pretty much that. Now let's take a look and see if we can't stick it up in NC Viewer and see what it actually, you know what, it won't do anything because I forgot NC Viewer, well, it's just a plotting piece of software. All that means is it'll show you the lines, it won't show you cutter comp, and we're using cutter comp to leave stock. Okay, so I'm going to recap once again. I'll leave it right here in CNC CNC Editor and Predator CNC Editor Lite, which means it doesn't do everything, but it's free. If you do get on a mailing list, you just have to ask them to take you off. Just email them and say, please take me off, and they will. Okay, at least they did me. All right. This is interesting here. I don't know what that. Now, that particular piece of code right there that I just saw, you just saw me take off, Control S, that was ghost code. We did not, here's another one. We did not see that in Notebook. Now, what does that mean? Okay, believe it or not, and there is such a thing as ghost code, I'm not making this up. When you take programs from one program to another, there is always not a perfect, all right, seamless copy. So what happens is you copy over stuff that you didn't even put in there. Now, why do we call it ghost code? It's because guess what? You couldn't see it in the Notebook pad file, but you can see it here. And ghost code is bad for a couple different reasons. Well, the biggest reason is you can't see it, but the control can. So the control will go down and it'll say there's an error here, and it may tell you what line or it may not. Chances are it won't. And you'll look and you'll say, well, there's nothing wrong with that. Guess what? You got ghost code in there. And it's real easy to do. Sometimes all you got to do is just accidentally hit one key and you don't even see it. And I know that sounds like bull, but trust me, I've taught this stuff for many, many years. And we've had students that have perfectly fine looking files, and I'll go, it's probably got ghost code. We stick in another editor and it shows up all this stuff that this guy we never knew was there. That's why we call it ghost, because you can't see it when you first write it. So beware of ghost code. It actually exists. All right. So let me see here. I can put it in NC View, but it'll do exactly what NC Viewer. It'll do exactly what it did last time. Okay, except make more passes. All right. So let's go ahead and I'm going to minimize that. Let's go down, open a browser, get that going. NC View, please. NC Viewer. Right there it is. Now, yes, I did mean NC Viewer. All right, great. Now let's go back to this. I should be able to do this. And you put your insertion point any place here. Click. Doesn't matter where. Hit Control A. This selects everything. It's a beautiful function. Notice that, let's make sure I haven't got a bunch of stuff that's passed. Okay, good. If you have a bunch of blocks down in here, okay, that's another way you can have ghost code. You don't believe me? Watch this. Okay, Control A. Oh, ghost code. That's right. Couldn't see it. It's there. And let me tell you what, on some less sophisticated controls, that will cause an error. So I have to go delete, 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 delete. Then I hit Control A. This is another good way to check for ghost code. One, there can be nothing past that percent sign is the point I'm trying to make. And I did have something past it. So it's gone now. Great. So I should probably hit Control S. All right, now why did I highlight all this? Well, I'm going to copy it. I'm going to right click and go copy. Now let's see how this works. Will it feed into NC Viewer? Yeah, I right click here, I'm going to hit Control A, and then I'm going to hit delete because I want all that stuff gone. I could have, you should be able to paste it right in here. Let's see if it does it. It did, and it did it wonderfully. Now look, see, I have all nice, beautifully sequenced numbers by 5. I have all kinds of nice, cool stuff going on there. Let's see if this program actually runs. Plot looks pretty good. Remember, you don't need this, so you can that big. You can scrunch it over there. Digital readout never hurts to be on. I'm going to rewind it. Boy, that's exciting watching it go backwards. And we'll this should run it forward. That should single step. A lot of them will give you what they call you know comma tips or comments that shows you what this button actually does. You can play around with these experimental options. Huh. See, backplot options. This is one of those. This is what I'm talking about. When you hover over it, it full screen. But here, nothing. So we're just, remember, pause, play, play backwards. This should be single block or single step. It doesn't matter. So here we go. Now, one thing I am going to do here, all right, zoom that out, center this up a bit, all right. It'd be real nice just if I rewind it all the way to the beginning. It'd be nice if I could clear that. I don't see that it will clear it. There was another one we used to be able to clear by hit zoom extents. I'm right clicking in here seeing if that'll work. It doesn't. That's fine. For a free piece of plotting software, I'm not going to argue with it. Here we go. Okay. Now, I'm going to rewind that all and we'll go forward one step at a time. Here we go. So take a look at what's going on over here and then what the digital readouts read. See, Z is down to 1 inch. Z's at 1 inch. That's a good way to check your program too. Now you're saying this looks exactly like it did before. Yeah, does. But when you put those D numbers in it and you populate the tool geometry page of the control, all right, I'll just spin that all the way to the end. When you populate that with, first off, D02, you're going to put in 1 inch and 30 thousandths is the diameter of the end mill. For D01, you're going to put in 1 inch. You're going to actually use a 1 inch end mill. D02 will stay away. So that is a beautiful way of programming stock, and this is a viable part now. For all practical purposes, it's very viable. I might go over it. There may be a couple little things I might want to optimize, but it looks really good. All right. So having done that, I'm going to say goodbye, and I will post all this as normal. There may be some other stuff that, like I said, I'll try to put that CNC Editor link up there. So good luck, and remember, all I need is the notepad file. Don't upload anything else yet, okay? Just send me the notepad file. That's all you need to do. All right.